Hello, Quadabble here on my free-to-play El Hain account, and today I wanted to go over this big fusion event. There's a lot of conversation out there: great champion, not a great champion, has a place to fit in, doesn't have a place to fit in. Honestly, I don't know yet. I believe this is the way I'm looking at it. I have my main account and I have my free-to-play account. I don't think my free-to-play account is ready. It's only level 41. I had gone in and prepared, I believe, as much as I could, being that you have to prepare through potions. And you can see I was working on getting 10 potions, 10 superior potions of each type. And it's just been very difficult to get those potions up. And then, of course, if you have 10 of those, you're probably going to need 20 of the superior arcane potions. So this account isn't ready for it to go for the end champion. So what I wanted to do is go through, read it, and I haven't really looked too much into this champion. I did watch some other videos from other YouTubers, and their content is fabulous. So I'm just adding to the mix on another point of view. The interesting thing I thought on this champion to begin with was it was speed in all battles, 24%. So if you had a Fusion, this champion is equal to Fusion's aura, increased speed in all battles by 24%. So right there alone, I remember Fusion being one of my first two or three legendary champions, and that made it a core champion for every location. Arena. Before you get Arbiter, 24% in all battles is game changing. Gorgorob's 23% in just Arena, and Gorgorob is fabulous. So this being 24% in all locations for a starter free-to-play account, that's big. If you're under level 60 and you can go for it, that right there could be worth it, because that could make the biggest game change. It affect your dungeons, your Doom Tower, your clan boss, especially your clan boss. So if you've got enough to go for it, just the aura alone for a under level 60 account, it could be worth it. But remember, fusions are the most difficult to do as far as getting these champions. Looking at her A1, she has, if you booked her, which the books are expensive, and if you're under level 50, you probably can't book her. I don't know if you'd want to book her, being if it's one of your first 5 legendary champions, because she is a book-hungry champion. She's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So she's got 12 books to book her out. So getting her but not being able to book her, that creates another issue, because some of her best skills, place to revive on death every 3 turns. This is the one that makes her do everything. So she has this passive over here. So she's going to put a revive on death and a 60% increased defense on all allies for 2 turns. Great support ability. Nothing wrong with that. She has this other passive, which again is great. Fully heals the ally with the lowest HP whenever this champion is killed. Heals all. So when this champion dies, and you have another champion that was about to die, this champion is going to heal that champion completely. And because this champion should have a revive on death on her, she'll pop down, pop up. So she's also going to clean off any debuffs. She's going to take care of all that stuff. And then she's going to heal all allies to 20% of their max HP and fills their turn meters by 15% whenever this champion's revived. So I'd almost think that also means that her turn meter is going to be filled by 15%, and her HP is going to be healed. And so you have the revive on death coming in, and then she dies and comes back, and she does all this healing stuff. So, but it really is a big factor that this revive on death that lasts 2 turns, she can put it on every 3 turns, or maybe it's the 4th turn. Still cooldowns. Interesting stuff. And then here's another big one. Swaps HP with an ally. So again, she's trying to heal herself. And again, a 6-turn cooldown to a 3-turn cooldown. And it just simply says if this champion is equal to or higher than the targets after the swap, this champion's fills this champion's turn meter by 40%. Then places a 30% increased speed debuff on this champion for 2 turns and places a block damage on the target ally for 1 turn. So it's going to lower, theoretically, it's going to lower the other champion's health, but it's going to put a block damage debuff or buff on that champion for 1 turn. Now, the interesting thing on that is it's only 1 turn. So if the other champion is right behind this champion, that block damage might not be as good as it sounds. Now, if this champion HP is lower than the target's after the swap, fills the target's turn meter by 40%, places the increased speed debuff on them for 2 turns, and places a block damage for 1 turn on this one. And it also places 2 15% continuous heal buffs on this champion for 1 turn. So this is just a really interesting kit where it's going to heal almost in all situations. Here, it's going to put Revive on Death. Here, it's going to swap life, give itself. It's either giving the other champion health, or it's giving this champion health, and it's giving it continuous heals for 2 turns. Now, I like the second one because that, in my mind, would mean that the block damage would last almost a full turn. That's kind of like this champion saying, I want to heal the other champion. But then you get into this cooldown situation. Without booking it, I don't know if this champion would be worth it. This right here, this increased ally speed in all battles, 24%, great early game capability. Later on, there's better champions out there, but my Fusion I still use in several locations, and he has the same ability, and he's an attack champion. So 2 totally different kits, but that same early game, 24% in all battles, really good. This would be really good in Clan Boss, too. You're healing everybody, you're putting a block damage on people, you're increasing speed, just really good stuff. And then this won't really work against the Clan Boss, but it will fill this champion's turn meter by 15%. So it's just really trying to make this champion get to, and then the speed down here, it maxes out at 115, so you're not really seeing the full kit. This is just a level 5 opener, but she does end up with 115 on her speed, and her damage is based on HP. So you want to get this champion up to 60,000 HP. And this is an attack all enemies, A1. Another fabulous opener. You put her in with a counterattack champion, and she's going to be, you raise her HP up through the sky. So I have mixed feelings for this one, but I can't go for it because I didn't have enough materials with a level 41 account to get it done. So on my free-to-play account, I'm not doing it. I'm still tempted with my main account to get this done because I'm prepared for it. I have all the potions I need. I got several rank 3 champions about to turn into rank 4 champions. So I do believe that I can possibly do it. Now, looking at the lower champions, I didn't understand this champion. Speed in all battles, 18%, fabulous. You're looking at a really good beginning game just because of that ally speed in all battles, 18%. That is still very popular. Good in arena, early game, good in clan boss, dungeons, everywhere, obviously because it's in all battles. And then she has this 40% chance of increasing the cooldown of one of the target skills by 2 turns at random. Now this is a 50% chance on her A1. That's good. That would be good against anybody like that's arena, and that's going to be singularly good throughout dungeons and stuff, but not very powerful. But that could be pretty helpful in arena, and that would pair good with her or speed. So she could be kind of an arena team. Again, her speed, her low end speed is 102, so she might top out at 110. So they're starting to make these champions faster. Then over here, you're looking at 100% chance if you book her to place a speed debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. And then whenever the enemy loses a sleep debuff placed by this skill, has a 50% chance of replacing it with a fear debuff, which that would go up to a 70% chance. So that's kind of nice. You make the champion go to sleep, even if they're woke up with a hit, there's a 70% chance that they're going to be replaced with a fear debuff instead. So that can be kind of interesting. And then over here, places sleep debuff on an ally for 1 turn. Heals that ally by 50%. Heals return meter by 50% whenever the sleep expires or gets removed. And heals that ally by 100% and completely fills return meter if the sleep debuff is not lost due to taking damage. So if they fully go to sleep and they get to the end of their turn, they're going to actually get their turn. So that's kind of a nice thing. And that would help you in the idea that they get to the end of their turn, they're asleep, and then another turn goes around. So that's another cooldown instantaneously. And it's not, there's no checks or anything. So this is kind of a free one. You don't have to have accuracy or nothing to put it on your own champions. Interesting kit, a lot of sleep stuff, kind of interesting. This is nice that it can put a sleep debuff on all allies for 1 turn, but you want to get your timing right because any hit will wake them up. But if it is taken off, there's a 70% chance you can put the fear on. So that's an interesting champion. For anybody free to play and in their early game, that speed in all battles is good. That's good. That'd be useful. And that champion's pretty fast. Come over here, look at Jorgen. Getting another Shadowkin getting ready to go up. All battles by 25%. Speed will be over 100 when it gets finished in the kit. Attacks 1 enemy, has a 45% chance, placing a 50% decreased debuff. Ends up being a 60% chance. That's not bad on your A1. It's based on HP, so his own all battles 25% is pretty powerful. His low end starting is 14,000, so he's going to have crazy HP. This champion's going to have crazy HP, being able to do damage, and that decreased attack is nice on anybody. So yeah, the decreased attack is very powerful in a lot of locations. That'd be good against clan boss. 60% chance just from hitting on the A1. Places a shield buff on this champion for 2 turns equal to 25% of their max HP. So this is going to be a giant shield. That's going to be fabulous. And then places a provoke that attacks 1 enemy. Places a provoke for 1 turn. So that provoke, it says it places. There's no chance. It's just going to place it. If the target's max HP is equal to or lower than this champion's, the provoke debuff cannot be resisted. So then equal to or lower than. So you're going to set this character to be 60,000 or 50,000. Odds are the provoke will land, and it can't be resisted. So then you wouldn't even have to have a high accuracy to do it. Attacks 1 enemy will ignore 25% of the target's defense, will also ignore unkillable and block damage. Now that's pretty powerful because there is some champions out there with that unkillable block damage that's used in arena and then in some Doom Tower locations. And the ignored defense is pretty good too. So a powerful item. So if I was going to go for somebody, I might go for this one. So if I'm on my free-to-play account, Jurgen might be the person that I go for with my free-to-play account because I want to get some champions. This account definitely needs them. And then let's see what the passive will receive. 25% less damage from enemy attacks when this champion HP drops below 50%. Now this, from what I saw, this doesn't heal himself. He just puts this shield on potentially every 3 turns. So with that being said, that passive will be pretty powerful when you take 25% less damage from enemy attacks when he drops below 50%. And then your healer comes in. So this is just going to make sure he lasts even though he's taking damage. So Jurgen might be one that I would go for, just in the fact that it's got a 60% chance of placing that decreased attack. A big shield and a provoke. That could be the provoke could be pretty useful in arena. Taking out someone's A1 like Madame Cirrus or something, where if you're fast enough, you can get there first, and then she can't take away all your debuffs or all your buffs on your champions. So that's pretty powerful. And then let's see here. Here you got Tolf the Maimed. Only three kit. Speed might be 100 when it's done. Let's see here. Enemy attacks enemy 2 times. One enemy 2 times. Each hit heals his champion by 30% of the damage inflicted. This attack cannot be critical. Now, that's unfortunate. But at the same time, what's really nice about that is that would prevent you. That's equal to a lifesteal. Not being critical is one thing, but if you did end up going against bosses and you had War Master on or Giant Slayer, depending on which, I would put War Master on from what I can see. But that 30% could be enough to heal him completely back up. And the HP again is crazy. And this damage his damage is based on HP. So this is an HP champion. Attacks one enemy when not attacking bosses, inflicts pure damage and decreases the target's HP to 50%. Wow. Attacks one enemy when not attacking bosses, inflicts pure damage and decreases the target's HP to 50%. That's crazy. Inflicts damage based on this champion's max HP instead and places a stun debuff for 1 turn if the target already has less than 50% HP. So with enough accuracy, it's either he takes him down to 50% or he's going to stun him. Inflicts damage based on this champion's max HP when attacking bosses, but you can't place a stun on a boss, so that makes sense. And this attack cannot be critical. I don't know if I like that. I do like the fact that you can either, if they're a 60,000 HP champion, bam, they're now cut in half. They're down to 30. That's 30,000 points of damage. And then the other side of it is you get a stun, so that's pretty good. But this attack can't be critical. That kind of, when you're attacking bosses, that kind of makes it sour to me. I don't know if I like that. And then up here, decreases the values of all enemy shield buffs by 50% at the start of every turn. That increases this champion's max HP by the same amount, up to 25% of their max HP. So this guy keeps going up, and his HP to start with is crazy. Wow. So that's kind of different. Decreases the value of all enemy shield buffs by 50%. So that would be increasing your damage. So looking at this skill, the only thing I'm interested in knowing is it a max per time this happens at the start of every turn, or is it an overall max? I'll have to look at some other videos or something like that and see in the test plays and stuff, see if that happened. But it is interesting, though. It's either take off 50% or put a stun on. But I don't like the fact that this can't be critical. What that'll do is allow you to not worry about having to have crit rate or crit damage. So you'll be able to put on HP, gloves, and some hit point amulet to increase the HP even more. So interesting kit. A damage dealing HP champion. If you build his speed fast enough, that could be a stun. So, but there has to be a hit. There has to be a hit, or this skill has to hit in first before this one will come in. So you have to pair it pretty good. I don't know. This This champion seems wonky. Um, I don't know on this one. It is nice to be able to place this stun, but I'm not sure. And then here's the last one, Magnar. Demon Spawn. Doom Tower, defensive Doom Tower, 30%. There are better champions out there, but that 30% is only 4% away from Iron Brago. So as a epic champion, that's pretty good. I mean, he's almost got legendary status as far as Iron Brago. Let's see, adding an extra 20%, so it'd be 65% chance of placing a decreased debuff for 2 turns. It's pretty powerful. It has a 100% chance instead if the target is under an HP burn. So no matter what this is, it's a 100% chance if he's under an HP burn. Which HP burn is very popular right now. And again, these are all HP champions. Damage is based on HP, so that's interesting. Attacks all enemies. Place an extra hit on enemies without HP burn. Has a 50% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. No increase on the chances for enemies under an HP burn. So he can either get 2 hits on everybody based on HP, or he has a 50% chance of placing a stun if they just happen to be. So high damage, 2 hits, a big damage increaser right here. Could be a 3-turn cooldown. Attacks 1 enemy, applies a debuff spread effect, taking 2 random debuffs from the target and placing them on all enemies under HP burn debuffs. Also increases duration of HP burn debuffs on all enemies by 1 turn. Will not spread the standard. And let's see, and then the last but not least, this champion heals by 1% of the max HP every time anyone in the battle takes damage from HP burn debuffs. So that's anyone. That's allies or friend. So if he's got 50,000, he's going to heal by 500 HP anytime anybody takes damage from it. Even himself, I imagine. He's anyone. So decreased defense, debuff, without HP burn. Taking 2 random debuffs from the target and placing them on all enemies under HP burn debuffs. But I don't see him placing. I don't see him placing it. So you'd have to pair him with an HP burn person, a Drexstar Blood Twin. So with that, him not being able to place him, I don't know. There are a lot of great champions out there that can do it, but he seems like you have to pair him up. Now HP burn. Obviously, you can't take an HP burn debuff and replace it with another HP burn debuff. So then again, you're going to be looking at trying to spread poison, or can't do stun or fear or any of that stuff. So decrease attack, decrease defense, decrease accuracy, weaken. All those different ones could be spread, but it seems like you have to have a champion that's going to put it on, and then you have to have another champion that's going to be putting on stuff like poisons or decreased defense and a lot of stuff. So I don't think I like Magnar. I do like that if you don't have a Doom Terror champion, giving you an increase defense of 30%. If you don't have that, it just depends on what you need. So these are all champions to me that seem like they're specific items. Like, I don't know. So on my free to play account, I'm not going for it. And as far as the champions that are available, any of them would be great to get, because this account hasn't opened up any shards or anything yet. But at the same time, I don't see any game-changing items. I do like this champion's speed for early game. This would help my early game. But I've already gotten a champion that does the same thing. It's your 30-day reward, 30-day login reward. Increasing cooldowns, sleep. The one thing I feel that's bad about sleep is if they get hit, if an HP burn could wake them up, a poison debuff could wake them up. All those things being said, the 50% chance or the 70% chance to replace it with a fear debuff. That's kind of good early game, but this is not an end game champion in my opinion. And then this is an interesting one too. It's the way she heals. She puts you to revitalizing rest. She puts you to sleep and you wake up healthy. But again, kind of situational. Georgian was probably the one I liked the best. 55, 60% chance to place a decrease attack debuff for 2 turns. Places a shield on himself with a chance of provoke. That can be very useful. I don't know about end game, but definitely that places provoke, and it can't be resisted if the target's max HP. This champion you want to just have way up there. You just want to have way up there. So this is probably George Urin is probably the better champion, and with that provoke, you can take Kale out of the game. You could take Gorgorob out of the game. You could take him out for that 1 turn, so then they just can't kill you that first turn. I do like this one where it ignores unkillable and block damage. Early game, there's a few locations in the campaign where that can be useful, but at the same time, early game, this would be a good champion. And then we'll receive 25% less damage from enemy attacks from this champion. So this champion's made to last longer and do a ton of damage. You could probably put him in some good gear, so as his HP drops, he either gets faster or he does more damage. That would be an interesting way to look at it. But I like George Urin. So if you're going to pick one, I would go for George Urin, and I'd probably make sure that I get a George Urin for my El Hain account. This guy not having critical damage, and that he can't be critical on a boss. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. It's interesting. You just drop and if that was all enemies, that would be so crazy. You just drop out half, or you can put a stun on everybody. That would be crazy. But being one champion and not very usable against the clan boss, and it can't be critical, I don't like that. And then decreases the values of all enemy shields, and he increases his own. So it is interesting that with this idea that he keeps increasing his max HP, which would then in turn increase his damage. But you're saying they have to have shields. They have to be either above 50% or below 50%, and they can't be critical. I don't like this guy. He doesn't even have an aura to help out anywhere. If they put an HP aura on him, it might make it better. I don't know, but I don't like Tulf the Maimed at all. And then this Magnar guy, he doesn't put HP burns on himself. So you have to pair him up with a champion that does HP burn. A lot of great, cool effects. And then he can heal if anything goes off the HP burn. But you're talking, you need to be able to have a champion with him that puts on HP burns on everybody else, and champions like that are way better than him to begin with. So quite situational. His helmet, it looks familiar. It looks like a helmet off of another champion. And just as a quick little, whatever, as a free-to-play account, go for all the rares, especially the Void champions. I'd say go for them, just for collection purposes, and some really cool abilities. So here you have a Hell Freak, and he doesn't either. Swaps HP with an enemy, then grants an extra turn. Wow, now that's cool with a 4-turn cooldown. This Hell Freak's pretty cool right there. That's equal to Astrolith, that skill right there. And then he turns around and he attacks the enemy 50% chance of stealing all buffs from the target before attacking. and attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has 20% chance of placing 60% decreased defense, 20%, 30, 40% chance. Not bad. Not bad. No game changing. You can't rely on that. And then speed in all battles by 10%. Not very helpful. Spirit Host is already better than that, and she does way better items. But I do like this with a 4-turn cooldown, swaps enemy HP, then grants an extra turn, so that it instantaneously goes down to 3 turns if you book them. A lot of damage, not too crazy. Early game, this guy, I like that guy. And then, so yeah, get Hell Freak, and then Lumber. Sounds like an ogre. Yep. No. About 30%, 40, 50% chance of a decreased attack. 25%. Well, that's not. That'd be a 40% chance to increase a decreased defense. On the A1, that's not bad for the A1. Attacks one enemy has a 50% chance of placing a 60% decrease. 75% chance. It's too bad it's 1 turn, but that's not too bad. And then places a 50% increased crit damage buff on this champion for 2 turns and attacks all enemies. I like the attacks all enemies and the increased crit damage should you want to build his kit. So, not too bad. I don't know. Out of those, though, I do, just because of the swap, I do like that one. So free to play, I wouldn't go for the main champion. Out of these lower champions, I like George Oren. I would say pick him up. And then definitely get yourself a Hell Freak. Usable in probably usable in the faction crypts. You're always looking for good faction crypt champions. So free to play, I would say don't go for it. As a collector, and I have this stuff sitting around, I'll probably go for this on my main account. There's just so much questions about it, but if you don't have the materials or the potions, or you weren't prepared for this, I would say skip it. I'm a collector, so I like getting them just because, and they might change the kit. You never know. They might do something with the kit. And I think Hell Hades recommended that if it started off with a Revive on Death at the very beginning, that would make it pretty usable. Now, get some Adam Cirrus or a buff cleaner, that wouldn't do you any good. But still, if he dies in the first turn, he would be able to heal somebody to the full tops, then revive and increase everybody's turn meter. So that's not too bad. All right, so free to play, don't go for it, and not necessary unless you just want to get it. But I would take a nice vacation and enjoy this. I think there was a comment in one of the Hell Hades videos, and it said, "This is a blessing from Polarium. They don't. They know that everybody's going to go on vacation, so why not take it off?" So, all right. Well, that video's been completely long enough, and yeah. So, have a good one.